Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So let's talk about next generation Xbox specs. Potential specs, of course, because there's no official info on that just yet, it's just too early. But there's been quite a lot of leaks and rumors suggesting all kinds of specs when it comes to next gen hardware, both Xbox and PlayStation. But there's actually two particular sources, actually leaks, that seem to very legit because these two come from very reliable sources. I'm talking about Tom of Moore's Law is dead, and more importantly Kepler L2, because I'm not really 200% sure on Tom reporting, but when Kepler L2 says that what this guy reports is true, then I will actually believe it, right? Now, I'm not saying that Tom has been right or wrong in the past. I'm just saying that, Kepler L2 is in agreement with Tom when it comes to specs for both Xbox and PlayStation. And I will have another video probably tomorrow on PlayStation 6 specs. Okay, let's talk about these specs. Now, let me also explain, just for the sake of argument. Kepler L2, he's a data miner, and for those of you that don't know what data miner is, it's a person that works for a company, some sort of company, that has access to all kinds of databases. These databases store technical information on all kinds of products, prototypes. So basically, whenever AMD or other company works on, a product, they have to test it, they have to prototype it, and all kinds of tests, specs, information about prototypes goes into that particular database or databases, and data miner basically has access to all kinds of information. So that's why Kepler L2 is a really pretty reliable source, because he knows stuff, right? And obviously when it comes to specs, a prototype doesn't mean a final product yet, so certain things may change throughout the testing period or like prototyping period and that kind of stuff. So I'm just saying that, and I won't really go into every single small bit of information, because I don't really want to go too detailed when it comes to specs, because like clock speeds and that kind of stuff, that can change for sure, or number of amount of memory, for example. I won't go that, but I will tell you what type of memory and memory bus, right? Okay, let's talk about specs then. Looks like next generation Xbox, and by the way, just for the sake of this particular video, and I'll probably make another one. There's actually going to be quite a lot of videos coming soon on this channel, by the way. There's going to be an Xbox next year, but that Xbox, or should I really say chip from AMD, that there's going to be an SoC or APU, as some people call it. So basically the main chip that powers consoles. This particular chip from AMD is going to be available for PCs, for all kinds of PCs, and some companies may actually build like a small factor PCs that will look like consoles. And that particular chip is going to be compatible with Xbox games, meaning that that kind of type of small PC with all the bells and whistles and specs and extra memory and that kind of stuff is just going to be like a more powerful Xbox, right? And still compatible. So that kind of makes it like an Xbox Series X Pro, but that's still not next gen, by the way, right? I just wanted to clear that out, if you know what I mean. That's not next gen Xbox. Next gen Xbox is going to come a year later, so 2027, and that's going to be using a proper next generation hardware. I'll talk about that next year console or hybrid PC and Xbox kind of device, probably tomorrow or some other day. I don't know. There's quite a lot of actually videos I want to make, to be honest with you. But anyway, let's go back to next-gen Xbox, a proper Microsoft console that will probably release in 2027. So that console is going to be quite, powerful for a console for sure. And looks like they're going to build that console based on Zen 6 CPU. So that's actually going to be the latest available, when that console is going to arrive to the market. It's probably going to use around 11 cores. So that's more than this gen. That's good news. On top of that, looks like it's going to be using a chiplet design. So you will have like two separate chips, separate silicon bits on one die, on one particular in one particular package, and they will be separate but in the same package, if you know what I mean. But that's going to allow, I guess, both AMD and other companies to actually make their own types of that kind of chip, and I'll go into that later probably. But anyway, this particular chip, it will come with obviously GPU silicon as well, and it's going to come with 68 compute units, or should I really call it WGP, working graphics processors or something like that. I think that's how it goes. Anyway, so let's call them CUs or cores for now. So that's more than on Xbox Series X, of course, because Xbox Series X comes with like 52 or 52, I believe. And so that's more, that's for sure. We don't really know much about the clock speeds, and clock speeds obviously are very important when it comes to specs, because the faster it goes, the faster it will be. When it comes to, by the way, GPU will be based on RDNA 5 or UDNA architecture. I think they are planning to rebrand it, so change the name. But that's pretty much, whenever you hear RDNA 5 or UDNA, that's pretty much the same. It's just naming convention is different. I think they plan to change it. But for now, let's call it RDNA 5. And obviously this particular chip is going to have, well, more cores. It will be faster. It will, the IPC is going to be much higher, so way more efficient chip. So there's going to be all kinds of things that will be better. Ray tracing support is supposed to be much better. Machine learning as well. So all these kinds of stuff, right? I'm hearing also that this chip is going to use GDDR7 memory. So that's very good news. Very fast, 32 gigabits per second, or transfers. I don't know how they actually measure that right now. So that's way faster than the current gen console's memory. It will work on a 192-bit bus, which sound a little bit low, right? Or narrow, really, not low, narrow. But I also hear, or Tom from Moore's Law is dead here's that apparently Microsoft or Xbox is planning to do this split memory kind of thing with this console as well. So they did that with Xbox Series X. This allowed Xbox Series X to have much wider GPU bus. So it's possible that it will be actually higher once they do that. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, both SoC die and graphics die are going to be produced on TSMC 3 nanometers process. So that's very good. That means that they will be able to pack way more transistors on that chip. So listen, that all sounds great. Clock speeds, I know this is pure speculation, but when it comes to CPU, I would imagine it's going to be more than 4 gigahertz, because 3.5 is the current gen. So I would imagine that this particular one should be faster, not only more efficient, but also faster. And also GPU, there's all kinds of speculation. Some say, more than 2, some say 2.5 gigahertz, some say even up to 3 gigahertz. Although, I have my doubts when it comes to a die that big. But who knows, maybe RDNA 5 is so efficient and so power efficient that it will be possible. hey, I would love that. I mean, the more hertz, the better, I guess. So anyway, listen, so that's the specs. Obviously, you know, things may change, especially clock speeds. And like I said, I'm not reporting on clock speeds. I'm just guessing. I just want to let you know. But I would imagine that it's going to be more than 2 GHz for the GPU cores, because current gen console Xbox Series X is running at 1.825 megahertz, I think, something like that. So 1.8 gigahertz roughly. So I would imagine for the 3 nanometers process to be much higher. I would imagine 2.5 gigahertz, that, you know, minimum. But like I said, that's just pure speculation on my part. We'll have to wait and see. Is that console going to blow all the consoles out of the water, or PCs? Not really. It will be more powerful than the current gen consoles, but it's not going to be a day and night difference, right? So that's the reality of the situation here, and I think we just have to get used to it. Technology kind of slowed a little bit recently when it comes to innovation. I guess the innovation comes from software right now, like machine learning and ray tracing, not necessarily pure power, but like I said, it will all depend on developers anyway. They will have to take advantage of that extra power and all these features and stuff. Also, obviously, because this particular chip is supposed to be, you know, compatible with Xbox Series X, I would imagine that all the current gen tech will be supported as well, and maybe even updated. So velocity architecture, obviously SSD should be faster, direct storage, and all these kind of technologies should be there as well, because it makes sense, because it will have to be compatible with Xbox Series X. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because really none of these, well, hardly any of these technologies have been used this generation, right? Mesh shaders, another one that, you know, maybe 3 games use this generation, which is sad, to be honest with you. So we'll see. But anyway, guys, listen, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Way more videos coming in the coming days. There's so much stuff I want to really cover. So I'll just try to, you know, basically drop 1 video a day and, you know, keep you updated on things, because there's a lot of stuff going on. There's going to be some updates when it comes to Xbox ROG Ally and these technologies. There's updates when it comes to new Windows version for handhelds, and also, well, Xbox app for PC and stuff. So a lot of stuff is happening, and Gamescom is happening in 3 weeks. So yeah, there's going to be stuff happening, that's for sure. So anyway, guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.